In another life, I worked for a time in the World Trade Center. That was in the early 90s. And then after that, I moved on and I went back to trying to make movies. And I left people there who continued to work in the building, some of whom died on 9/11. And right around 9/11, like many people, I became very disillusioned by the way 9/11 was being exploited for political ends, both by this White House and its adversaries. I think like many people, I tuned that out. I was so off-put by it that I shut it out. And then a few months later, the police department of the city of New York came to my office, and they brought me something which was from the recovery effort. When they took it out of this little sack that they had, it turned out that it was a possession of mine, and it was my ID card, my building access card from that many years ago. And I remembered immediately when I saw it that I had dropped it behind a file cabinet in 1992 and never retrieved it and just got a replacement. And so I was then holding it in my hand, and it was somewhat melted and burned and sort of mangled and ashen, but I could see my face looking up at me. And I remember thinking at that moment, for the very first time, that could have been me. So I went back into some emails I'd gotten at the time, and I read newsletters about families of 9/11. And in one of those newsletters, I read about Wilton and his story.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you, sir.
And I was incredibly moved by it. But I didn't right away think, I should go shove a camera in this guy's face. I mean, he had suffered enough. So I didn't quite know what to do, but I read in the article that there was a quote from his rabbi. Well, first of all, I didn't even know there were Jewish cops. So this was its own tremendous revelation. But I called the rabbi, and I sort of put myself at his mercy, and I described what I wanted to do, and I left it in his hands to decide whether to put Wilton and myself in contact, which a few weeks later, the phone rang and it was Wilton.